Hi, everybody. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, this is Spiritology on. I say un because it's unapologetic, unchurched, and unmuted. And this is based on my podcast, Spiritology, which is everywhere. And also, that is based on my book called Spiritology. So today, we are coming to heal your body, soul, and mind through our review of the good things and then some of the lowly things. We're trying to just prepare you for your spiritual awareness and spiritual uplifting. And of course, I have my Whisper Vibes team members with me, or should I say, Whisper Vibes team queens. And we are going to go into 66, episode 66. This is what you would call a series called Life Play, where I assist you and teach you how to take back your life. And I don't want to give you everything because, as I said, this is going to be the appetizer. And if you want the whole course meal, somewhere will be a link to the full video. Yes. So let's say hi to Patty in Africa
Hello, everybody.
and Sheeta in Texas.
Hi everyone.
Okay. Now, Patty, what was your take or what main points you got out of episode 66? Which I'm sorry I didn't say anything. It was actually called, it's called Reimagine Your Destiny. And it's part 3. So we're going to be mixed up a little bit here. Revising your life script as the writer. Yes, the writer. We are talking about the writer today. Yes, you can write your own life play. Some of you said, "Oh, Miss P, it was terrible," but you know what? You can revise it. What do you think about that 66, Patty?
When I first heard it, and I heard it for a second time, and I listened to it again, when I think about writer, you make me think about how much power that I have in my own life, and how we give so much of our power to our pastors and our preachers and just man in general. But we don't know that we have a spiritual side and how much power that spiritual side holds. Sometimes we walk around, with our head down, as you're saying, we're always depressed because we're not utilizing our power. But one of the ways you talked about utilizing our power, and it's through our words. And our thoughts become our words, which is then it's going to become who we are. And when we write it down, and we speak it, it's going to, come back to us the way we speak our words. So controlling our words is what kind of stood out to me, and the power that I have over my words.
I like that. I like that. And you said that we actually give too much control.
Mm-hmm.
What could you tell us a little bit about that part, Patty?
Well, we don't take the time to get to know God for Himself, or get to know things ourselves, and we rely on other people to thinking they can get us to where we need to go. So
You
we put
can't. You
our.
muted. Could you say that again?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now I can hear you.
So I feel that we put a lot of trust into other leaders, thinking that they can get us where we need to go, versus getting to know our higher source for ourselves. We rely on them, which we need to go
We
within
rely
ourselves.
on who?
We rely on our pastors and our preachers, and just other people in general, those that we consider to be an authority figure.
Yes, and I think now remember she's in Africa, so she may be a little stuck there sometime. But what she's saying to you is the the pastor is not be all and not all the way up to the end. And what I'm saying about that, if you got a good pastor, you go in there, you learning, you go into the building to fellowship, hopefully, and not gossip and not intimate ship. with other people, property. So she's trying to explain to y'all that we put so much in our, sometimes our spiritual, it can just be spiritual leader. It can be your parents. And I'm not talking about if you're under 18. It can be your teacher, your coach, whatever it is that you can't make in this decision. You can't make a goal. You can't decide, go from without going to them. And it's fine to seek wise counsel, to seek many counsel. But what happens if they are leading you the wrong way? You won't know this until you go and you look and learn the manuscript for yourself. You must have a relationship with God. Yes. Because even when you go into church, you must not depend on that pastor reading you 1, 2, 3 scriptures, and some of them don't read any. You have to come to a point in your life, in your adult life, that you pull out that manuscript and read it yourself, because you don't know if he's reading a scripture. And I know a lot of y'all look at the Bible through the technology, through your phone. That's fine. But you should be able to know where that scripture at least if it's in the New Testament, the Old Testament, or whatever, and know it for yourself. Every great leader studied their Bible. Martin Luther King studied his. Malcolm X studied his, the Quran. I'm telling you right now, they studied it. And that's something that I see with mostly Christians, because they literally get lazy. Listen, I have actually in college took up or learned a little bit about each religion, and they study their religion. Christians, they only leave everything up. That's the pastor. That's the pastor. That's the prophet. Let them do what they need to do. You don't even think about it. Once you leave the church Sunday, what do your Monday through Saturday look like? Thank you so much, Patty.
You're welcome.
And Patty, what did you find to be humorous, if anything? And I put humorous in there so I can, because I bring a lot of stuff. The humorous part is for you to relax and then give you a point of reference to receive and digest what it is that I am saying to you. You can go ahead, Patty.
So when you was talking about the words that we speak, right, you said if you write down your whole conversation in one day and all you saying is FF and BB and you ain't this and you F, I want you to give that to your boss as part of your resume.
What did I say? Give it to your boss?
Yeah, you said give that to your boss as part of your resume.
Oh my see, because I don't remember what I be saying unless I listen to it before. Only time I listen to my podcast is when I'm literally reviewing it after the editor give it to me. But yeah, I didn't know I said it as a resume. And Patty, when you got a time, make sure you turn up your volume. We want to definitely hear you. And with that, what she just said is a lot of people be like, I don't care. I can, I'm not going to do this and do that. Don't be telling me what to do with my language. But as an adult, you're not going to walk in front of you're going to change how should I say? You're not going to talk the same to your leader, whether that's your leader at your job. You're not going to go to the pastor and, hey, what's up? And some of y'all got cool pastors, but you're not going to talk to them the same way you talk to your homegirls or your homeboys. And right. So you need to reevaluate what's coming out of your mouth majority of the time. And I wasn't talking about cursing, but it could be cursing. I'm talking about the negative words, the words that's come out of your mouth. Like they said, I forgot what was it? What is his name? Chris Tucker? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rush Hour. Do you understand the things that come out of my mouth? So yes, she's absolutely right. I thought I put it in, divinely put it in, and I felt like people be like, I don't think negative. Whatever you said, you thought. It was up here first.
Mhm.
Yes. And you have to be careful daily. Like Paul said, you are dying daily. And you're not here to be perfect. You're here to realize, as a writer, you're going to be very careful. Listen to details, look at details when you're writing, because you don't want just three audience, you want a wide variety of audience. So as a writer in your life play, you're going to have to rewrite your story. And if everything is coming out of your mouth or your thought, because you're going to write what you thought, you might not say it at first, but you're going to write it, you're going to think it, you're going to write it, and eventually that's going to be played out and somebody's going to speak it. It's going to be manifested. So you have to be very, very, very careful of what you're writing in your life play. And yes, you're going to write what your mother and your father wrote in that life play. But then when you become a grown adult, unfortunately, if you living with your parents, which a lot of people, especially post pandemic, is like, hey, wait a minute, everything have went up triple. It's kind of hard and difficult because you cannot find your voice. But when you have that life play, keep it there as a writer, at least to write your goals and what you plan on doing to make sure that your household have improved, your life play have improved. And this is why we said the writer, you can rewrite, revise some of the disbelief or negative belief that was given to you by everybody around you. Thank you, Patty. Now let's go back to the purpose of us being here is the life play, and you are the writer. We did talk about everybody else. I believe we talked about the producer already. And if you have not heard any of that, you definitely need to go ahead and follow the link that I'm going to have up here. But actually, you need to go in my podcast and get all of the videos for the life play, because you are listening to the writer's point, and I'm teaching you, and I'm going to continue to teach you by what Sheeta have to say. What did you get out of it? What was your take, Sheeta?
Yeah, I really like these episodes of the podcast. And when you started to talk about the writer, I agree with Patty. And you really went into more detail about where do you get your vision from? And you talked about that in the director and the producer as well. Like, you have to have a vision. So when you talk about it, you said you want to be connected to the soul scribe, which is God. And that was really impactful to hear, because I don't think you always think about life that way, or at least I didn't. I wasn't thinking about life that way. In terms of, I kind of had an idea, I had some dreams, but I didn't realize that my dreams were actually visions given to me by God. So when you start to talk about like the vision board, that's one form of writing, and you went into all the different forms of writing. And when you start to talk about like how words are powerful, and what you can write down things on paper that isn't who you are today, but as you're writing them down, you're actually able to start to walk into your promised land. And you talked about boundaries too, in words, and I had never associated the words and the boundaries to be relatable. So that was really helpful, because if you write it, like you said, if you think about it, then you say it, you're going to say it. So I feel like if you write about it, like you said in this podcast, it's so much more powerful, because you're actually starting to visualize it. You're writing about it. You're thinking about it. So you're using every part of yourself to really make that thing come true in your life, and make it real. So you can go one way or the other. You can write it, write the positive things down, the things you want to see, or you can take in all the negativity, and that will start to come into your life. And then you really talked about coaches and how that's really important.
Yes, absolutely. And forgive us if it seems like she's going in and out, in and out. So I'm pretty sure, hopefully, that's not going to be the effect. And if it is, this is not, we're not going to edit this. She actually, I hope you can understand her. It was a lot of things that she said. And one of the things she said, she didn't know the importance of writing. Writing, yes, we can hear you, but you was going in and out. But you're fine. Writing is very important. And when she said you have to write it down, that, I mean, that's, write it down, keep it plain, write it down, and your angels will run with it. That's particular scripture, because if you didn't write it, it's something about the spiritual world that even when you lay down and go to sleep, the spiritual world is working on your behalf. Yeah. If you don't believe that, why do you go and do vision boards? We said vision boards. We didn't say no Ouija board. We said vision board. It's your vision. It's seeing it, looking at that vision board daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. Some of us forgetting to do it yearly. It's just physical proof that you're looking at, and you are just trying to feed your subconscious mind and tell it, this is who I am. You trying to trick it. See what I'm saying? Blessing, feeling is the blessing. So you're trying to trick it to say, hey, wait a minute, this is where I am. This is who I am. So those points are very important. What Sheeta also said is the connection. Dreams. It's so many different things that I said. Your dreams, the visions, everything is coming from God. Now, I know some of you say, how about your nightmares? Yes, your nightmares. You'll be surprised how your nightmares are usually not nightmares. And it can be a warning sign for something you're about to do, something that you are in. I have had warning signs when I was in a particular relationship many neons ago. So even in a relationship, sometimes, people will say, oh, I no wonder I was dreaming this. No wonder I had headaches. You have signs, but that power is a power in writing. This is why in my book, Wordology, we were not our ancestors was not allowed to read. And they didn't want them to write. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because it was power in knowing the written word, because the word is power. Like she said, like Patty said, the word is power because the word was the beginning. And God used the word to create everything around us, even to this day. But we can use our words to dissolve it, to disassemble it, to build it, or to break it down. So remember, it is power in the word. A script, a writer would have a script and he'll send it to certain actors. And based on what he wrote or she wrote, they'll say, never mind, I don't want to do it. It just don't sound right. It don't sound like me. But they know that if they choose that particular script, they got to become that script. Mm-hmm. So when you write certain things like a journal, that's why they say journal. Some of y'all have diaries when you're young. And it can be an expression, a safe way to express yourself and get all of that anger out of you. But then you have to be very careful, because you become that story on paper. Did you find anything humorous about that, Sheeta?
Yeah, you had, besides the part that Patty mentioned, which was really funny, you had a couple of parts in here. You said some of y'all won't leave the house without checking with your psychic. And it was funny because,
thing, that's a California thing. Yeah, you just go and look at how many psychic hotlines they got in Cali. And the stars, we talk about the stars too. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. And then you also mentioned, that would you give $100,000 to somebody at the age of 5? And I thought that was funny because a lot of times we do want stuff that we're not ready for. But when you put it in that perspective, you're like, well, no, because what would they know what to do with $100,000? But it was funny.
Yeah, she have a good point there. A lot of people say, when, Lord, when? I want my stuff now. But as I have said to many people, and I said this to y'all in counseling sessions, when you graduate from high school and you go to college, how would you look if you say, listen, can I have my degree?
Mm-hmm.
I know my stuff. I know this. I was an expert in high school. Yeah, they don't care about that. Guess what you have to do? You have to go through those classes. And if you smart, you're gonna roll through them. And some of them you're gonna say, oh, I never done this, I never seen this. And then even experience university is excellent. But you have to experience things. And people say, I want this person right now, I want this person right now. And you couldn't, some of y'all females that say that, could you handle, look back. When you mature, it's certain things situations you may be in, you can handle. But when your mind have not matured, even though some of y'all think, I know when I was 20, you couldn't tell me I wasn't all of that and some. I just thought I knew the world. And you go out in life, and guess what happened? You can't deal with it.
Yeah.
This might be the reason why so many young people, that generation, what is the Generation Z? Or the other one? They are on medication.
Mm-hmm.
Too much is given to them. They social media got everything. Everything is opened up around the world. And they wonder why they walking around, and a lot of them have mental issues. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I will say from a spiritual point of view, this is why you need to be connected, because everybody's word is not a good fit for you. And if somebody is verbally abusing you, that is the words coming out negative.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is some funny parts, and I appreciate that. And some of y'all said, well, can I have a snippet of the video? I do believe we have this. So we're going to see if we have it. Go ahead and play it. Because the writer is the one who has the power of the word. Miss P, what do I have to do with me? Your word, everything that you thought about behind the scenes, your life play is the expression of what you've been thinking all day long. And if that doesn't cap it, you will literally, your words will express who you are. That's why you go to an interview. That's why even when you date him, you put on you put on your actor's hat, and that person don't see the real person. But eventually those words will come out. Why am I talking about words and thoughts? Because thoughts become word and word become on the paper. You write it on the paper. I don't know if y'all want to, because some people say, that's not biblical. That's not biblical. Let me tell you something. A writer is so important to a play. And this is going to be your play. Guess who the writer's going to be? You. Guess who was the... Yes, if you want more, I know that was interested. You know what to do. Now, let's go into finding out. Did you learn something from this, Patty? If so, could you briefly tell us? What you going to take from this podcast in your life, or what are you doing now?
Because, you deal with so many people on a daily basis, and, sometimes people can tend to affect your emotions. So I'm learning to think before I speak, because I have the power to control my words, and therefore I don't want whatever I send out is going to come back to me. So I need to think before I speak. And don't let the situation control me.
Excellent. Basically, control your emotions. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Or should I say your reaction?
Yes.
And your emotions you want to control, because your emotions is the ones that go down to your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind make it happen in the midnight hour. Thank you so much, Patty. How about you, Sheeta? What did you learn, and what you're going to take from this podcast?
Yeah, I agree with Patty. What I learned is that, I mean, I've always written a lot, but I really used to write about the pain that I would experience in life because I was trying to find an outlet to express how I felt. And so what I've learned is that I really don't want to dwell on that and write about the pain that I'm experiencing or the frustration or the things that aren't going right, but more to reverse that and write more about the things that I want to see and make sure that it's aligned with, my spirituality. Because instead of just everything that I want, more so, okay, God, what do you have for my life? And make sure that I'm writing those things down so that I bring more of that into my life instead of the things that I don't want. So I
Yes,
didn't
yes. And
know
and
that.
so okay, so you're basically saying when you write down, what is that for you? Is that a journal or you taking notes in your mind?
Yeah, I used to write in my notes and journal. Well, a long time ago, more so in a journal. Of course, I write the things that I want to, see on a vision board, but I wasn't being consistent with making sure that I'm like essentially writing, what's on my vision board, the positive in a journal and like in my notes instead of using it as a place to vent out my frustrations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are going to close here. And I'm sorry we went a little bit longer. We thank you, Patty, for from coming in from Africa, all the way from Africa, and of course Sheeta. And we look forward for the next episode. And I'm going to just wrap up this episode. You have control of your life play. I understand you're living in your parents' life play and it was negative. It was tore up from the floor up. But now that you know, or you will know after watching the or listening to the full video, that you have full control over your script. And you do not allow other people to come in and rewrite your script. You must take control. Even if you're in a new relationship, you don't let that man or that woman come in and say, oh, well, let me take the script. Let me tell you what to do. And you don't complain and get very upset at God when things are not manifested that you wrote down. You know why? Because, like I said, you wouldn't give your 5-year-old $1 million. I don't care if he or she is a genius. In the same way, you're not going to go to the on your first day of college and say, "Can I have my degree now?" It's a process. God knows how mature you are. He knows. I don't care how many times you'll go and you cry and say, "I want money, I want money, I want money." It's not about that. God wants you to prosper and be in good health, but it's a process you have to go through. So until that process manifests, what you need to do is learn how to rewrite your script. And I guarantee it will be a Broadway hit. It might be an off Broadway hit. You don't need the world to come and see your life play. But what you want to know is that the writings came from your heart. This is who you are. You want to be walking in your writings. You want to be walking in your script. People should know you besides looking at the way you carry yourself. Yes, your clothing, your makeup, even your tattoos tell a story. You want it to be a good story. You don't want it to be a bad reality show. You don't want it to be a tragedy like it have been in the past. You want to rewrite it, and I will show you how. Free. Trust me. Come get your discovery, prophetic, preview, all of those in a nutshell, and contact me. You won't regret it. And remember, if loving yourself is right, you don't want to be wrong. Thank you.